Just a Position podcast is back, coming at you once a month like a period. This is Steve. I'm surrounded by assholes today. First up is Dimitri, who I refuse to call Devante.
My name is Devante, but hi.
We got Randy as usual.
I'm coughing. Hold on.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not coughing anymore.
Hi, Randy.
Hello.
And we got a special guest this week. It's Ryan, a good friend of mine and
Gosling?
a friend of yours. I never asked him his last name. We're not that close. But Ryan, is your last name Gosling?
It is. Hello, Steve, Randy, and Devante.
We have the Ryan Gosling.
We have one of the Ryan Goslings.
A Ryan Gosling.
Put that in the title.
Clickbait. You have to put that in the thumbnail for the YouTube.
I
never
will
believe
absolutely.
which Ryan we got.
So thank you all for being patient with us. It's been over a month now. We had a lot going on. Some personal shit got in the way. But we're back, and hopefully we'll be back on a regular basis. So again, thank you, and glad to be talking with all y'all again. So what you guys been up to since the last time we talked? Throw that to Devante.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, Dimitri.
Killed it. But when was our last show? I think it was our Thanksgiving show, or the pre-Thanksgiving show, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so since then, obviously the holidays, I don't know, just life be happening sometimes. You don't be in the mood to do too much. Then Thanksgiving and Christmas, be busy and shit. I've been gaming, playing a lot of VR lately. Been getting back into Beat Saber and golf. That shit is very fun in VR. I think that's about it for me.
What about you, Randy? Where you been?
I've been sick and working and sleeping. That's it. Like, I don't know what to tell you, brother.
I like the sleeping. That's good. I wish I did more of that.
Oh God.
So I'll jump in and I'll take some of the heat for the long gap. I had some, not me, but a close family member had a health scare, non-COVID, thank God. But it was pretty rough there for a little bit. Kind of took up most of my mental, and it was hard for me to get focused on anything besides getting them better. They're doing much better now, so I appreciate everyone being patient with me, especially the other guys who, obviously they could have recorded without me. I would have been fine with it, but everyone wanted to do it as a unit, as a team. So thank you for that. And luckily we're good. We're out of the woods and we're getting better. So we should be able to get together on a regular basis and get these episodes out once a week, if not more. Unfortunately, that shit happens. The holidays obviously impacted by that. We're a little weird this year, but by New Year's, we were all pretty much back to our old selves, and we had a good celebration with New Year. We didn't do anything because the world's on fire again, and people don't want to fucking wear masks or get vaccinated. So we pretty much stayed home and chilled out. It was a good New Year's, and it's been good since then. So glad to be back. So I know. Let's introduce Ryan. Ryan is a friend of all of ours. We used to all work together, Dimitri, Ryan, and myself.
Yeah,
we all
not me.
Thanks.
No,
Randy doesn't work.
No, we all work together.
Randy just works on the
Mac. So Ryan, thanks for joining us. A big reason we wanted to bring Ryan on is we're all in the same Discord and bullshit together, and we all started talking about the new Matrix. I was super excited for it. I think we did talk about that when they announced it. And then it came out around Christmas. We all watched it, and we all had different opinions on it. Actually, Randy, did you ever get around to watching it? I don't think you did.
I haven't seen any of them.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm sick. I told you that.
Well, then you have nothing to do but fucking watch a goddamn movie.
I can't watch movies if I'm sick.
It makes
Please
no
watch
sense.
the
When
first
I
one.
cough, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Because I cough and I miss like a whole scene.
You don't have the pause button, man?
I couldn't afford that.
All right. I'll loan you my pause button. Definitely watch the first one. I think we can all agree on the first one, right?
Hell yeah.
First one's fucking classic.
Yep.
I was not a big fan of the sequels. I watched the first sequel and did not watch the third one. I didn't watch the animated one either, but I hear that one's really good. So I need to sit down and watch that shit next time I get sick.
We should probably say spoiler warning right here.
Are we ready to get into it? You want to
Am I
spoil it?
supposed to be in here for this? Like, goddamn.
Yeah,
You ain't gonna
If you wanna
fucking watch it.
so
You
bad.
You didn't
don't
watch.
care.
Yeah, you didn't watch the 20-year-old one. You're not gonna watch the one that came out 2 weeks ago.
I can't talk about Dragon Ball Z around this man because he thinks he might watch it.
I will.
You are welcome to drop out if you want while we talk about it. But yeah, that was the whole point of Ryan joining us this week.
Oh, I thought we were talking about football.
We're gonna talk about football.
Na-na-na,
We would definitely
Okay.
talk about football, but I do want to get into the Matrix because there's some shit I wanted to say, and I'm like, no, we'll save it for the show. So now that the show's here, let's fucking talk about it.
Yeah, you
Okay.
could, Randy, you could deafen yourself and then we can summon you back so you don't have to leave all the way.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm just simply going to leave. I'll have my phone on me.
You just deafen yourself in Discord, and we'll at you when it's time to come back.
I mean, that's kind of what I mean. Like, I'm just gonna take my headset off and just like vibe. Is
All
that
right.
not what I can do? And like, just at me whenever you need me.
There's a legitimate button you can press, but that either way works. It's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna do it the manual way.
Skedaddle.
Bye.
All right. So everyone that's listening or in Twitch, if you don't want the new Matrix to be spoiled, please step away now. Okay. Let's talk about this shit. So Ryan, I know you are passionate. Do you want to start or
I think since you, to my understanding, you and both Demetrius liked it. So why don't you two
Yes.
go and then I'll wait for you guys to finish and then I'll just kind of
then
pick
there's just
apart.
shit on it?
Yeah, I'll just pick apart everything you said and you'll understand.
Devontae, you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go.
All right. So the new Matrix is flawed. I will lead with that. It's not as tight as it needs to be. There are elements that don't need to be in there. It rides the fence on whether it wants to be a direct sequel or if it wants to be a reboot because it spends way too much of the movie with exposition about what happened in the first movie and what happened in the second movie and what happened in between, and you spend too much time listening to a recap of the previous trilogy. That being said, I did enjoy the action sequence. I enjoyed the cinematography. Um, Keanu is as Keanu as he can be, where he will deliver a line and makes you laugh because why the fuck did you choose to do it that way? Which I think we all at this stage in the game, we know that's what we get with him. He's not a great actor, but he's fucking entertaining. Um, and I enjoyed the new Morpheus. I think I would have liked him to be a brand new character rather than, I guess, an AI version interpretation of him. And I enjoyed the other new characters that were introduced, but overall, I thought it was entertaining, which is what I look for in a movie. Not every movie needs to be fucking Casablanca or Citizen Kane or needs to be, memorable, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but it doesn't need to have a lasting impact. It could just be entertainment, popcorn films, if you will. And I think that's what we got with this. I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed everything that I got out of it. I had a good time with the movie, which is what I look for. So 2.5 hours, long ass movie, could have been shorter, should have been shorter, but I had fun, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, bro, I'm with you. That shit was a great time. Like, yeah, like you said, some of the shit just doesn't work. I actually hated New Morpheus. It would have been better if he was a new character, but I think with how they set up the whole Matrix universe, how like the fucking MMO was canon and anything else, I feel like the universe kind of just got like it was like too much. Like if they went solely off of like the first three movies, I think it could have been better. And I think this should have been a direct sequel and not like a reboot, kind of teetering the line, like you said. Also, I hated new hipster Agent Smith. He sucked.
I liked him. I thought he should have been a brand new character,
Yeah,
but he's a douche. He's supposed to be a douche. You're supposed to hate him. And I thought, I enjoyed watching him. I thought he was entertaining as well. So I get why you wouldn't like him. And if you probably would have, I won't speak for you, but it would have worked better if he was a brand new character.
yeah. I like Agent Smith. Like I like what he is. I don't like the actor they chose, basically. um, yeah, it had kind of shitty CG in some parts, just like the originals. Like, was it Nanobot Morpheus and any of the other like AIs in like the actual world looked like shit. Um, but Keanu was great. I feel like it may have been tough to bring in aged Keanu with like the beard and the hair and stuff because he's basically John Wick if they put a gun in his hand. Which I mean, John
Mhm.
Wick can fight too, but I don't know. It's just it's a
Yeah.
it Keanu is those two characters. That's what you know him for. So like, it's gonna be really easy to look at this movie if you have no idea what you're looking at and be like, is this John Wick? But I think the effects, the action were sick. Fuck man, it's been a while since I've seen it. But
No, what I'll add, I like the atmosphere. It made me long for what Cyberpunk should have been.
yes,
We can get into Cyberpunk the game any point, but that's what it is. It's a Cyberpunk movie, and I like that. That works for me. The aesthetics of it, the atmosphere, it fucking rules, and I want more of it. So if it's a flawed version of Matrix or a flawed Cyberpunk game, I'm there for it because it's the best I can get at this point.
yeah, and I liked the new characters, the completely new characters that they brought in. I didn't have a problem with any of them. So that's why I also think if Morpheus and Agent Smith were brand new people, it could have worked better because none of the new characters were bad or like cheesier than the first batch of people. Um, so I don't know, man. It definitely has flaws, but I don't think it was a terrible movie. But then again, I also have a track record of liking terrible movies. Like I'm obsessed with the Fast and Furious franchise. But that's I don't know. I just like entertainment, bro. I'm not there to have like a great story. Like if I want a great story, I'll go play Persona or something.
All right, Ryan.
All right.
He's about to make me cry.
Oh God, I don't really know where to begin. I guess first I'll talk about things I did like, and that's not a long list. So what I did like about the movie was uh, the the overall story. Keanu and Trinity are like this. There's like they just explain it in the movie. They're like some like they have way more power as far as like what the robots want for power than any other human in the Matrix. So that's why they bring him back. I'm fine with that. That's good. But literally everything else about the movie, I just hated. And the I guess I'll start with the beginning. So the whole meta commentary, the Keanu, or I should say Neo, he's making the game in the game, or in the Matrix. He's making the Matrix. That's okay. And they kind of make fun of it that, Warner Brothers is asking them to make a sequel when it's not necessary. But like immediately after that, they first they try to just, say that, we can separate ourselves from the original. And then, immediately after that, they're doing all these callbacks to the original. It's like they really had a hard time coming up with new ideas outside of that. So I did not like another Morpheus at all, or another just a new Agent Smith. I mean, it's like if Star Wars at the end of 6, and okay, I don't know if I need to say Star Wars spoilers, but I'm going to spoil Star Wars right now. After they killed Darth Vader, and in 7, the one that released in like 2015, 2016, they just reintroduce Darth Vader and call him like Mark Shader or something. That to me, that's what they're doing. Just remaking a Morpheus and remaking an Agent Smith, and just saying, these are the same characters as the first one that you guys loved. Here they are again, played by different people. So I did not like that at all. The CGI was horrendous, and I mean, I'm dead serious when I say the original movie in 1999 or 1997 or whenever it was made had better visual effects than this movie. There will come a point when you're watching this movie and it's the scene where a robotic talking bird flies into a green screen with Jada Pinkett Smith in old woman makeup, and you're gonna question why you're even watching this. It's
We
just
watched it and we didn't question it.
I thought that shit was hard, bro. What you mean?
Oh, it looks like it's out of some, sci-fi channel direct to DVD movie on a $50,000 budget. It's just so,
Like a sci-fi channel movie.
yeah, it's so ugly and out of. It just takes you kind of out of the movie looking at it. It's just so obviously a green screen with pretty bland CGI, and then robot birds, and it's like when again with Star Wars, like in the recent one, 7, 8, and 9, they introduce all these characters that it's kind of obvious they wanted to sell as toys, um, like Baby Yoda or whatever. And it's just like, why introduce these? There's a scene where they introduce those new robots that are friendly in the real world. They give them maybe 5 seconds of screen time, and then they never reference them again. So I did not like any of the kind of robot helper things, and I really hated that bird. To go back to that point.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I watched it in the theaters. I think both of you watched it on HBO Max
yes.
legally.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes a difference, but I did not get taken out by the CGI, and I know Mitri referenced it as well. So I'm guessing the experience must be different watching it on in that format. But yeah, I thought that the story's disjointed at best. And again, with the Jada in old woman makeup just talking, like that whole scene in the garden where it just ends with him going to the jail cell and immediately going out the fucking window did not need to be there. That
Yes.
15 minutes or whatever, 20 minutes, that was some bullshit. And
They
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say they introduced this city of like they're saying like thousands of people live here now, and we see Jada, Keanu, and then maybe 6 other people, and
The
then the rest of it.
pilots.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I agree completely that entire. I mean, if it's not gonna move the story forward in any way or kind of expand on the lore, then I just don't see the point of that whole thing. Those are my least favorite parts, and you're talking about the runtime of like 2.5 hours. I agree, it was way too long. That's another complaint of mine. I think that's just a lot of bloat that could have been cut out of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
trouble finding, or I mean, it makes more sense now that I think on it, but like when I was watching it, I was having trouble like figuring out what the point of all this shit was. Like we didn't know who the villain was until the last like 45 minutes of the movie. But
But
like
I mean, it was pretty obvious. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a snob, but I thought it was pretty obvious that it was was Neil Patrick Harris pretty
Well,
early on.
I didn't catch that probably because I'm just stupid, but I was thinking like, well, if the alien or not aliens, but if the robots are on the good side now, who like what's the point? Like I know Agent Smith is out here, but I'm not sure what else I'm like supposed to be like I don't know what I'm supposed to hate.
I think to kind of agree with Demetrius, I do think it's a little odd the way they introduced Neil Patrick Harris's character as like a
Like the
he's almost like a
administrator.
boss. Yeah, he's like a system admin over Neo. He kind of keeps him in check. And if that's the point, and if he has these powers where he can stop time and do anything, why is there a new Agent Smith if Neil Patrick Harris's character basically does what Agent Smith does, but even better?
Because it wouldn't be a movie.
Well, I get your point. It's almost like, well, it's the Matrix, so Agent Smith must be here, and
Yeah.
then they they had them forming an alliance for 15 seconds, and then it was over. Shit, god damn it, Ryan's making me hate this movie too.
No, I mean
So
it deserves to be talked about because some of this shit literally did not make any sense. Like
I
in the first three movies, Trinity was just a fucking person. Why can she fly and shit now, bro? They were kissing and hugging all in the first three movies, and she didn't realize she could fucking fly back then? Crazy. Nobody would have died.
Well, I think the point is that she's more powerful now than she was before. I don't know why, but I think that's what the point is. She
Power of love, bro.
sh- word. I don't have an answer for you.
Like
You
when they
mean
joined hands for the first time and everything fucking exploded, I was like, huh? That was probably the thing I hated most about the movie. Not that I hate Trinity or anything, but the fact that she's now on par with Neo. Like Neo was supposed to be the one. Now there's Trinity. Like she's the two.
now
Like I
there's
don't
the
fuck.
two?
Yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. That isn't.
I,
That's not how it works.
I was okay with that. Like that Neo alone it isn't fully the one, but Neo and Trinity are because they kind of allude to that in the first one. That
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Trinity,
Yeah,
whoever Trinity loves is the one, and that happens to be Neo. So it's a little cheesy, but
yeah,
it was okay with me.
yeah. Because I mean, in the first one, the what is it? The Oracle flat out said, "You're not the one," and maybe he wasn't the one because Trinity hadn't fallen in love with him yet. I don't know. I guess we're just looking for to put the pieces together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Did
that
you?
to say, a lot of what I just talked about that I didn't like, the movies kind of rely to me. They rely way too much on the first one, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like a fan service. And even the scenes they show from the first one, I thought was kind of odd to show full clips of the first movie in the newest one. Um, that's kind of nitpicking, but I didn't like that they're relying
I,
so heavily on the first one. I don't think you need to jog anybody's memory.
Yeah.
I don't think that's nitpicking at all. I that was my biggest complaint was like either fucking reboot the movie
Yeah,
or assume that everyone has already watched the trilogy. Assume that everyone's already a fan, that's why they're watching it. Or don't. You can't have it both ways. And that's 100% my biggest complaint with the movie.
Yeah. Did you like how he was? I thought it was cool how like Neil Patrick Harris was keeping him in the Matrix with like the pills and shit, and like how you could see old Neo in like reflections and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
I. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Was it old Neo or was it him like they're hiding him?
I
It
mean,
it was
he had to have aged.
so they were hiding him. Again,
Uh,
the movie I don't think explains it to the viewer well enough for all these ideas, but to my
they
understanding, they're
were
hiding him in the Matrix with a different appearance. He's still
yeah.
Neo, but everybody else is different. What doesn't
That's
make
why
sense is
I'm
that I
sorry,
think.
but
Oh, go ahead.
That's why Trinity looks basically the same, just a little older.
Yeah,
They were hiding Neo in plain sight.
So he was an old Neo.
No,
but
he
I
was just
think
some old dude.
Whack.
in the real world, 60 years passed by. Um, but I don't know if we're supposed to believe Neo is like 80 because he looks like 40 or 50.
But he was in the fucking alien goo.
Yeah, but I think or I guess they're preserving him. I guess is my only. I don't know if they explained that in the movie. There's a couple times where I legitimately just kind of zoned out.
Yeah,
Well,
if
what
that
I
Um,
was the
like, what
case.
I like, what I like best about a movie is when I'm done, I have more questions than when I went in.
yeah,
All, all this shit should have been answered by watching the goddamn movie.
yeah. Um,
Uh,
I'll keep going. So
Go
one
ahead.
thing I thought was horrible, and especially horrible to do to a Matrix movie, is the fight scenes outside of Neo training with Morpheus, which I think is a given for a decent fight scene. The fight scenes and the action scenes are just really subpar to me. If you look at the first Matrix, they have a really cool style and look to the fight scenes and how they're kind of shown and directed. And in the and now in this one in the recent one, it's just I understand Keanu Reeves is not young anymore, but you have these Smith agents or whatever who aren't able. They're AI and they're not able to shoot a person. Not there's not. I don't think there's a single person that gets shot by these agents in the movie. And then you have these um, fight scenes that are just really kind of a letdown from what, for me personally, I was expecting out of a Matrix movie. That was one of the big negatives for me.
I agree. They made Neo do too much of that like force field shit. He was doing that constantly the last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, to me, it's like they build up to this super cool, like in kind of fight scene, and then you're just watching Keanu Reeves wave his hand at people on a motorcycle. It's a really big
Exactly.
letdown.
And people falling from fucking rooftops the whole time.
Yeah, and I did not like that. That's something I forgot and just till now. I did not like. It's basically hey, we're gonna put zombies in the Matrix kind of
Yep.
thing. To me, it's just it doesn't fit with the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like how you said the fight scenes in the first one, they were kind of like kung fu, I guess. Like I don't know, bro. The fucking the outfits, the leather jackets and shit, bro.
Oh
That's
man, the first movie has such a cool style
it
to it, and it's
does.
just so it's all that is just missing from this one. The first Matrix is like it's if you see any still image from that movie, you can just
Mhm.
see that certain style and finesse in it. And if I take an image from this movie, you don't know if it's some sort of like Photoshop project an art student is doing at a community college, or if it's a full, $100 million movie.
Yeah,
So
this one lacks the flair for sure, and I miss it.
when I go to edit the podcast, the audio portion of this, I'm gonna edit the part where I said I liked the movie at the beginning before Ryan made me look like an asshole.
I don't think
So
you should feel
just
like an asshole for liking it.
no, I don't. I I think they're all good points. Like from it's like the first test as to whether a movie is good or an album's good or whatever is good is if I'm having fun, if I'm entertained. And I think I was. I know I was. I enjoyed the movie and the fact that I had fun with it. I probably won't watch it again but I've watched the first Matrix several times since it was released 20 fucking years ago. So I don't see myself doing that with this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you're aware. I think this is probably the worst movie I saw last year,
Chill
out of
out.
all of 2021. So I definitely won't be rewatching
God
it. But
damn.
I've seen the first Matrix. I've seen the first Matrix. I mean, at least five times, maybe 10 times. I really like it.
So, do we know why Lawrence Fishburne didn't come back?
He died in the Matrix MMO, and everything in the Matrix universe is canon.
Yeah, I don't know the reason. I actually like the guy that played.
Me too.
He was
Well,
cheesy
yeah,
as fuck. Chill out.
I liked him.
I just don't think the character was written well, and calling just remaking a character from the original into what a different actor playing it. That
Yeah,
didn't gel with
I
me.
yeah, I'm being too harsh. I think the actor was cool, but I absolutely hated how he kept repeating OG Morpheus's lines and shit. That pissed me off.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I'm sorry. I assumed he did that because he was programmed in the Matrix game that he was made in to do that, right?
I think there is some sort of like he was programmed to be
To get
Morpheus, so he's slowly learning like what Morpheus says. But again, it's like you're just relying on the first movie
yes.
way too much. You're repeating the same like iconic lines from the movie with a new character, or not even a new character, the same character with a new actor, expecting people to be like, wowed by it
Yeah, you
20
can't do
years
that.
later.
You can't do that shit twice. It's like you just simply cannot.
Yeah.
But I do like how the or the new Morpheus has his own like storyline though of how like he was an agent and then he like saw the code in the mirror or whatever the fuck and was I don't know like awoken or whatever. I thought that was cool.
All right. Are you ready for my most controversial take here?
Yes.
No,
Keanu Reeves, I understand he's not, he doesn't have a really great range,
don't say it.
but to me, it's like he just said, "Yes, I'll take the check. Let me read you the lines real quick." It was a really there were some scenes where I thought he did really well, but other than that, it's just maybe this is just Keanu, and I actually like the John Wick movies, and I like some of the recent stuff Keanu does, but he's one of those actors to me where it's almost like a Bruce Willis type thing where he plays this one character and you're not going to get a lot out of him, and it's really just sometimes it's really stale. Like there's the scene at the end when they're in Neil Patrick Harris's broken out house and him and Trinity are talking. That part was just really jarring to me. It's like they were filming a commercial almost. The lines were the script is terrible for
Yeah.
one, and then
Yes.
Keanu is just he's not a good actor in those scenes, and it takes you out of it again. Um, so I didn't. I like Trinity, the actor. She played it really well. Patrick Harris played it well. The guy from
Yeah.
Agent Smith, he was good and everything.
Yep.
And I like the character, the Asian woman. I
Yeah,
thought
the
she
blue
was kind
haired
of
one.
cool.
She was
Yes,
sick.
yeah. If you're gonna introduce a new character,
He was good.
I thought she was good. Yeah, I thought she was pretty good. But back to the original point, Keanu's character,
He
I think it was a lot to be desired from what
he
he put
I
out.
will say I think he was the most Nick Cage I've ever seen him. I felt like I was watching Nicolas Cage because it's like he read the script and he thought, well, there's two ways I can deliver this line, and he did it both ways at once. Like I don't get it. Like he was all over the place, and I like Keanu Reeves.
Yes, I
I
agree
I,
completely.
I agree with every point you made. He can be awesome in a movie, whether he's playing a fucking, a stoner surfer dude or Constantine. He can actually make you believe and you want to root for him. I don't know what the fuck he was doing in this movie. He was all over the place, and I just laughed at some of the lines when he delivered them. Especially to your point at the end with I guess it's supposed to like it leaves us believing there's going to be a sequel, right?
Mhm.
So we're supposed to be hooked and want to see the next movie. That didn't work.
You crazy?
I don't know what the fuck he was doing.
I'm gonna boot this Matrix movie up literally this weekend. I'm gonna watch it again and enjoy it.
Good. I hope you do. I really do hope you enjoy it. But I agree with everything you said about Kiana. Mm.
Um,
Can we be done?
Let me think that we cover everything I hated.
Done,
So,
please. I can't take it.
um, yeah, I think that was it. It's just the movies. It's really sloppy, disjointed. On top, and then you add on stuff like boring fight scenes, bad CGI, still acting. like relying on the first movie to kind of carry it just that whole combination combined with just a whole just jointed story that kind of goes in many different directions, and then for almost a 2.5 hour period, it just the whole thing was a mess to me. So
I,
yeah, I'll be done. I did not like it. Worst movie I saw in 2021. But I still love the first Matrix.
yeah, I don't like old Jada Pinkett.
I don't think she should have been in this movie at all.
Oh no,
I really dislike that character. The acting was bad, prosthetics were terrible, and then the scenes were just boring.
out of 10, what would you
Impressed.
rate it?
Like a 2.
God damn, I shouldn't have asked that.
What did you think? He shit on it for 20
I
minutes.
was
Yeah.
maybe like a 4 or a 5. Will you give it another
No.
chance?
I might rewatch the first 3 because a lot of people don't like the second or third one. I think the second one has a lot of cool scenes too, like just as cool as the first. The third I can't remember that well. I don't think I liked it as much as the second, and definitely not as much as the first. But if I ever watch the first 3, I may rewatch the fourth. But God, I would have to be like super drunk or high or something
So
to
like a
make that
Thursday for
decision.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't see myself revisiting this. I think I'm gonna watch some of the sequels again because, like I said at the beginning, I love the atmosphere and I love the cyberpunk of it, and I don't know where else to get it. Maybe I'll watch Blade Runner, but it definitely yeah, I don't know. I don't see myself watching this again, even though I enjoyed it, and I understand and completely agree with basically all of your points.
Okay, so out of 10, what would you rate it?
I would give it a 5.
Okay.
What would you have rated it before our conversation? Did I at least influence you in any way?
Yeah, it sounds like you
I
had a
think
big influence on Steve.
I think I gave it a 6.5 when we were talking about it in Discord. So
Okay,
yeah.
I'll take it. All right,
What about
Demetrius.
you?
If you give it anything above an 8, I'll kill you.
Oh no, oh no, this shit was not perfect. The most I'm giving it is like a 7.
Okay,
But
I can
but
see that.
I would personally, or I want to place it at like a 6.5, or yeah, probably 7, because literally just because of Agent Smith, bro.
See, that's so weird to me because I had absolutely no issues with that character, with the actor who portrayed him. Like the only I will say the only issue I had was it should have been a brand new character, period.
He was
But
a hipster.
if but you're not supposed to like him.
But I want my Agent Smith to be better than him. You know, in the in
uh,
the in the Matrix, where the OG trilogy, where he escaped into the real world, and he was like that guy. I wanted that guy. Whoever he was, he
yeah.
played him perfectly.
So
I-
is this the first Matrix without both of the Wachowski siblings? It's just Lana that did this one, right?
What I read yeah, that's true. And then what I also read uh, is that this is kind of like a side note, but the choreography, the action choreographer for the first 3 or whatever was not in this one, and I think it's really easy to see that.
That's why we
So
just got
yeah,
force fields.
yeah, that's why we got force fields. So yeah, I think she did it alone on this one, and maybe that's was part of the problem, like not having the sibling. But I think as far as the future, they should just reboot it. They should not build off anything from this movie.
There,
I agree with that.
yeah,
Um,
there's so many spin-offs that they did, like the Enter the Matrix games, where like you played as Trinity and Ghost. Those are fun as fuck. I would love to see a Trinity and Ghost movie.
Well, no, I agree with Ryan's point. Just reboot it. Reboot the whole thing. New Neo, new everything, and start fresh because there's so much. It's very fertile for very deep storytelling, world building. You were referencing Star Wars, but like that, you can build a shit ton out of this concept.
I think it's
But
really easy to as well. If you take the original trilogy, like Neo escapes, but in this one, I think it's fine to say they recaptured him in Trinity, and there are still some survivors. But you could just say they just rebooted the Matrix, literally, like they rebooted the software or whatever, and they don't have powers or whatever. Now there's a new kind of protagonist that they introduce. I think it'd be really easy to kind of reboot, like do a soft reboot on the series.
Yeah, I would. That's pretty cool. I was thinking like since there's so many like important characters in it, they could do it kind of like the Marvel universe. They make like a Morpheus movie, and then an Agent Smith movie, and then like a Trinity movie or whatever. But
The
like same
the
characters, but change the
the
story.
the Asian girl, I can't remember her name. A movie around her would have been really cool because those first 15 minutes when she's like running on walls and shit and
She
doing
was
flips,
badass.
yeah, that was cool. But then, God, the next 2 hours and 15 minutes is just like, can we please just go back to that first 15 minutes?
When she
It's
stopped being
you
the
so.
main character, I
you
was
can't
sad.
remember her name is Bugs because of a white rabbit.
Oh yes, yeah.
Come
God,
on
it's
now.
of course the White Rabbit. It's just why can't they couldn't come up with the original idea. Let's just do the White Rabbit from the first one. But
Well,
yeah, I, I,
I
I like
I'll
Bugs.
excuse the white rabbit because the whole concept is Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah, yeah. I guess, but I mean they can do another
Yeah,
like a, I
Bugs is
mean
the new protagonist. Move forward with her.
I will accept this.
I'd watch it.
hmm so are we done loving then shitting on the Matrix?
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done.
We must summon
Okay,
Randy.
summon him. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I think we'll wait for Randy before we get into our fantasy football. We did a to let the listeners know we did a fantasy football in our Discord, and I think most, if not at least a small majority of um, our channel, our Discord is football fans, and Dimitri is not. Dimitri's one of the non football fans that joined our fantasy football, and he proceeded to whoop everyone's ass,
Let's go.
and
Wait,
I
Randy, are
don't
you here?
understand. I think he said he needed a few more minutes.
Oh,
So we won't go deep into it, but that's that is very frustrating. As someone who had a rough football season, as most of you know, I'm a Jets fan, and it was a very
Man,
I
it's
don't want to say up and down because it wasn't up and down. It was mostly down and then further down. But the last couple weeks have been okay. At least our quarterback is looking a lot better. But the one thing I usually look forward to is at least I'm competitive in fantasy football, and I was as mediocre as it gets. I think I finished fifth or sixth, like just dead middle, just
it's
mid.
it sucks. It really sucks when the team you follow is terrible, and then also you're getting destroyed in fantasy.
by a weeb.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so it's even worse.
yeah, yeah. Just it was rough, but I mean, it was fun watching football with Dimitri. The last couple of weeks, I wasn't able to, but there's some weeks we would all jump in Discord and watch it together, and that was pretty cool, especially in this COVID world where you can't have friends over and watch football like you used to. We kind of made it work in our own way, and that was neat watching Dimitri go from someone that didn't give a shit about football to actually getting invested. That
Yeah,
was awesome.
I bought a jersey even. I got a Mark Andrews jersey, and I decided my favorite team is the Ravens. Um,
And how much of that was based on the color?
a lot of it, and the rest was based on Mark Andrews winning me a lot of points in fantasy.
I think the Ravens do have a pretty cool. I don't like the Ravens, but they do have a cool logo and color.
They do. That
Yeah.
purple is hard.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know how close our purple is to the Ravens. I think ours is a little lighter, but yeah, I'm a fan. I not a fan of the Ravens because they used to be the Colts and the Colts were in the same division as the Jets or some bullshit. I just don't like them. But yeah, it's I respect the pick. They're always competitive. They're always on the cusp or in the playoffs.
Yeah, and
Demetrius, I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say, well, you can go ahead. I was gonna say you should remind us who's on your roster and who you won with, because I forgot. Oh, I only know Devontae.
Yeah, so my star players were my quarterbacks were very hit or miss. Like I had Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. um
uh,
I don't know, they would both just be mediocre as fuck some weeks, so I would just like swap between the two. Like Patrick would get like 20 points one week, Dak would get like 10, and then I would swap them. And then the one that was on the bench would like drop fucking 30 out of nowhere. So those two guys were eh weird on my roster, but the boys who never let me down, motherfucking Devontae Adams and Mark Andrews and who else? I
Who
think
were
it
your
was
running backs?
um let me check. I know Damien Harris was one.
Oh, yeah, he was pretty good this year. He's on the Patriots. He's a starting running back for the Patriots.
Yeah, I had him, and recently because my other running back
James
got
Conner was your other one, right?
yeah, he was out the last week or so, so I picked up Chase Edmonds, who
Yeah.
was ranked like 40 or something, but he did really good for me. I also had overall number 5 Leonard Fournette was also carrying me a few weeks. Um
I think those are all really really good as far as
yeah,
fantasy. Really good running backs. I know James Conner had a lot of touchdowns this season.
yeah, dude was
Um,
insane.
yeah, that's a pretty well-rounded team. Who'd you have other than Devontae Adams for receivers?
Had Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, and Rudy or was it Russell Gage.
You had Keenan Allen.
Yep, Keenan Allen as well.
Yeah.
Those are I thought I swear when we first drafted, I thought I looked at your team and thought, man, this team is a joke. But now that you said it, that team sounds really good.
Them boys are
Or
hard.
obviously it was good, yeah.
Them boys are hard for
Yeah.
sure. Like most weeks, Devontae and Mark Andrews dropped 30 and 40 points. So like they never disappointed.
But
Starting
yeah,
Russell Gage in the fantasy Super Bowl was questionable. But then again, what's his name? I think it was Mike Evans or Mike Evans or Michael Pittman. They were either questionable or something like that. So I put Gage in because I didn't know if they were playing. But of course they both played, and Gage got me 8 points. So he did really good the week before. I believed in him. He's on the Falcons, and Randy loves the Falcons, and I wanted to make Randy happy. Like I wanted to get his boy on the board because in week 13 he scored 22 points. The week after that 10 points, then 23 points. And then that was when I started like starting him, and then he got 5 points and then 8 points. So he let me down.
Did you make any trades during the season?
No. Well, actually yes. I traded with Randy. Let me see. It wasn't like a huge trade or anything, but I think it definitely did make a difference. Let's see. I'm going through here to find it now. Our feed wasn't like huge or anything.
yeah. I don't know how interesting fantasy football is to people, but it was definitely eye opening to get our asses kicked by a weeb who never watched football before this year.
Yeah.
Uh, I,
I
you
think
know,
not to take anything away from Demetrius, but does kind of show like, regardless of what team is good at the beginning of the season as far as just looking at a roster face value. A lot of fantasy football is luck and
Hmm.
just people performing every week. And like Devontae Adams, when Demetrius and I played against each other a couple weeks ago, Devontae Adams dropped 45 on me, and that's just an instant win for Demetrius.
Devontae
Yeah,
didn't, bro. That he was on point every fucking week. But
I know.
Randy gave me Mike Evans for Jalen Waddle. That was the only trade I made.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess you just had the good team the whole time. We didn't even know it.
Y'all boys were sleeping on me. My record was what, 10-5. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you had the second best record.
I was out here. I
I,
started
I
rocky, but them boys just went off.
I know the first like 3 or 4 weeks, I was consistently a top three scorer going against the top scorer in the league.
That's the worst.
I had the worst luck, and then injuries and all the other bullshit that comes with fantasy. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
I had fun with it. Like I said, we had a small pool for it. It didn't cost much, but it made it interesting each week when my Jets were not interesting at all. So I'm glad we did it. And also, fuck you, Dimitri.
I think next year we should increase the buy-in a little bit. I do think it I mean, once you get to a certain limit, this is not true, but I do think once there's more money in each person, it becomes really um a lot more competitive. When we get to it's a $10 buy-in, it's like, well, I'm just going to lose $10. You see people like towards the end of the season when they're like have a mediocre record, they might just kind of give up. But if there's a little bit more money at the end, um, it
I'm
stays competitive to the end
I
of the
am
season.
positive that Dan never logged in. He
Same.
never fucking logged in. He doesn't know he
Oh,
was even
so
playing.
with Dan, I told him.
Did we lose him?
I think we lost him. We'll never know what he told him.
Hey,
Oh shit, Randy's back.
I'm
Randy's
back.
back. We lose Ryan and we get
And
Randy back.
damn,
Yeah, I think we lost Ryan.
what are you guys talking
That's
about?
I think the last thing we were talking about was increasing the buy-in if we do this next year to make it more competitive.
Yeah, I can fuck with that. I feel like 25 bucks is like a healthy buy-in because that's small enough that like you're not gonna cry about losing it, but obviously
yeah.
then the prize is noticeable that oh shit, like I can actually buy something with this.
Yeah. I agree with that. My only fear is, some people may not be willing to throw that in, so we may have to expand beyond our small circle. But who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely, I think it's worth doing. It makes the season a lot more interesting, especially if your team isn't going to be competitive. At least your fantasy team can be.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this year I literally like I ran like a joke of a team. First of all, like I got Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, he missed like 80% of the games this year. Uh, I got Calvin Ridley, and he dropped out. I think it was week 7 was his last game. But he only played like 4 games. Uh, who else did I have? Like I was plagued with injuries, which I mean it happens to everybody. So once it became apparent that like my picks were just wasted, I started just picking guys that I liked. Like I had Mike Evans, and I gave him to Demetrius for Waddle. Not necessarily because I thought that Waddle was better, but just because I liked Waddle. So I was making kind of silly moves for the whole season, because $10 is $10. But I think it'd be really fun to like actually like take it serious and like watch all of the guys, because I wouldn't make it a point to watch all of the guys, obviously.
Yeah, that is something I miss about my DirecTV. The only good thing about the Sunday Ticket was that you can actually follow your fantasy players. You can enter your fantasy players into the Sunday Ticket app, and it would track it for you. So that was pretty cool.
That is
I'm
cool.
sure there's a way to do that now, but I did not do that this year. I guess I wasn't sure if Ryan was going to make it back in, but I think we lost him for good. Is there anything else we want to touch on with the with fantasy?
I think I'm good on fantasy.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Um, we're at about 56 minutes. I did want to touch on. I actually went back to a concert since the fucking world caught on fire, and I had a absolute blast. So, long story. I'll try to condense it. There was a painting that my wife found on some weird Facebook group for fucking like found weird shit at a flea market, and I absolutely thought it was awesome. I wanted that fucking thing, and we're trying to figure out how we'd get it. It was in Colorado, about an hour north of Denver, and we're like, how much would it cost to ship? How, what's the best way to get it? And um, all this was going on around November, and that was about the time that my family and I were planning a trip back to New England, where I'm originally from, and that's when my family member got sick, and we just called it off. Um, so I ended up having like ticket credit, like money with Southwest. So we were like, fuck it. Let's just go out there for a few days, grab the painting and bring it back. And then there's this rapper that I follow named Prof, who's also having a show out there. So we ended up making a weekend out of it. Went out there, went to the concert, got the painting, got that shit back, and it was fucking awesome. So if you get a chance, I highly recommend seeing Prof live or listening to him at all. I think we've discussed him maybe once before, but he's awesome. He puts on a hell of a show, and I was very excited to actually go back to a concert.
Sounds awesome. You even brought me a souvenir back from the
Yeah,
place that you went.
still at my house with your fucking Christmas present, you ungrateful bastard.
I'll come back and get it, I promise.
Damn.
I'm back.
Ryan's
Sorry.
back. We moved on from fantasy football, man. We're done.
Well, we never found out what you told Dan.
Yeah, I do want to know what you told Dan.
It'll keep it. It'll remain a secret.
We'll put it behind a paywall on our Patreon.
I just told
Oh,
him,
wow.
Steve, edit this in like I never left. I just told him that here Eric left. This team's gonna be yours. Here's the login or whatever. If you win, we can split it 2 ways, and I'll pay the 10. Now that I'm thinking about it, I actually lost 20.
Damn.
You lost twice.
Yeah. Guess I should have maintained his team.
Told
coulda
you there's
gave-
collusion. I told you there's an asterisk on this season.
Yeah,
That's why.
Dan's team had Randy's favorite kicker on it. You should have traded him.
It should have been a free win for everybody.
I lost to
I
him.
think
I'm
okay.
pretty sure
Alright.
I did.
I might have, and if because there was a couple games that I just straight up forgot to set my lineup, and I had like 4 motherfuckers on by.
Yeah, I don't even have that excuse. I just fucking straight up lost. Oh shit. So is there anything else we want to talk about?
Do we want to talk about our game of the year? Personal game of the year?
I'm down to talk about it. I didn't get a lot of gaming in. I got some like some online games with you guys. I think we played Smash. I played a little bit of Call of Duty and just shit to drop in, play, and get out. But the one game that I dedicated a ton of time in and played consistently was Guardian of the Galaxies. That game is fucking awesome. Guardian of the Galaxy. That game is fucking awesome. It is it is flawed as shit. There was a couple of times I had to restart save point because it just bugged out. But the storyline is fun. The graphics are great, and the battle system is rewarding. It's fun to play. So I definitely recommend it. I think it's on sale everywhere for about $38. I would recommend that shit. I definitely got more than my money's worth out of it.
What game is it?
Guardian of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Do we know how that game performed on Switch?
No
I don't,
idea.
I don't think it is on Switch, is it?
It is.
Very poorly because it's
It's
not there.
probably it might be like a cloud version
Oh yeah, probably.
because I don't know if that can run on us. You know, the Switch is like it's like a glorified iPad from like 2017 or something. I think I don't know if it can run it.
Yeah, it. I don't know if it's on there, but it's on literally everywhere else: PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox.
I'm about to check it out.
Yeah, I have a friend who's like a Marvel fanatic, and he loved that game. So I'm pretty sure it's worth checking out.
It is on the Switch. Holy shit! I couldn't tell you how it performs, but I do see that it was released for the Switch. It got a 58 on reception when it got an 85 on everything else. So I would not get it for the Switch.
Yeah, it's probably not the cloud version then. That shit probably looks terrible.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun if you can get it on sale, which, like I said, it's on sale everywhere. Does not have microtransactions. There's no online. It's just a linear story. Actually, the story changes based on your decision. So there's like there is an arc to it, and there are different endings. I've gotten a couple. Um, so you can play it more than once too.
I found it on Switch. It is the cloud version.
Okay.
It says a terrible way to play a very good game.
But I guess
So,
I can go
yeah,
next.
what's your game of the year, Dimitri?
It is a toss up. Or I only played one real I guess game of the year contender game. It was the remaster of Near Replicant that came out in April with the added ending on one of the playthroughs. The way Near games work, or at least Replicant and Near Automata worked, was the game has a lot of endings. I know Near Automata had like 26 endings, but only 5 of them are real. The rest are just kind of like joke endings, like it'll tell you to walk right and instead you walk left. That's an ending. It'll show like a credit scene, and then it'll say like you chose to walk your own path and now you live happily ever after, whatever the fuck. But yeah, that's how that goes. But in Replicant they had ending A, B, and C, or I think A through D, and then they on the remake or remaster they added an extra ending that is completely brand new. So playing through all the original endings and that new one was a great experience. I played it and finished all endings in like a week or two. It was really, really good. I enjoyed every step of the way. The music was fucking phenomenal. The characters were great. Oh, bro, fucking Kaine. She looks so much better in this remake, bro. Um, you guys won't know who that is, but I,
No idea.
you won't appreciate it. But any near replicant players will know how good Kaine looks. But the new ending was absolutely fantastic. So I think that is my game of the year. It's either that, and if we just want to go like based off of pure hours spent in a game, it is definitely fucking Genshin Impact, which I'm still selling my soul to. I'm poor because of that game, but yeah, it's it's definitely near. I would say I fucking loved it.
That's that's also published by Square, which published Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's kind of cool.
I love Square.
What about you, Ryan?
So I played a couple of games this year, and The only two that I played that I think were legitimate Game of the Year candidates were Halo Infinite and the Resident Evil 8. And between those two, I do like Halo a lot, but I really, and I'm about 70% in it, so, or I'm 70% through it, so it's not a full kind of review, but I think it's definitely Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village. Um, it's just really, really, really good. I like horror games a lot, and this one, it's just there's a lot more combat. Compared, I didn't like 7 at all. I didn't even finish it, but this one I'm really liking because there's a lot more combat. I like the whole setting, so it's like a European like village, with like some castles and shit, and some of the enemy designs are like really, really, really creative. Uh,
And the giant
there's
vampire mommy.
yes,
Titties. Let's go.
and yeah, that's that's one of the best parts for sure. And a 9-foot woman, super pale skin, fat ass, giant
Bro,
I'm sorry, you
boobs.
said ass?
I'm bricked up.
Yeah.
Hey, woke
and
Randy
she
up.
and she chokes you in the game.
Steve, edit a picture of her on the YouTube, please.
All right, I can
But
do that.
yeah, I'm really liking that game. Can't wait to finish it. So Resident Evil 8 is my
So,
choice.
isn't that a direct sequel to 7?
It is. So it'll give you a really short summary. The really only thing you need to know from 7 about 8, or with 8, is that the main character is still the main character, and he's got this like disease where he'll get stabbed and shit, cut, and he can kind of just like take it because he's got the virus. You know how all Resident Evil 8 or Resident
Yeah,
Evil games are
yeah.
about a virus. He's got the virus, so he can kind of, he's a human still and he's normal, but he has the side effect of he can kind of regenerate, limb, or not limbs, but he can come back to health slowly, or stuff like that. But yes, it is a
So
direct sequel.
I I bought that game and have not played it, and I hate myself for that because I love Resident Evil.
Let me have it.
Um, but there was supposed to be multiplayer with this one, wasn't there?
I've got, when I bought it, it put something in my Steam library called Resident Evil Universe or something, and it looks like it's some sort of beta for Resident Evil multiplayer. I think it's like a. Did you ever play Resident Evil 2 remake?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like in that kind of view, from what it looks like. I didn't look at it for a while or research or anything, but it looks like it's like almost like a third person multiplayer shooter in that kind of look and style.
Yeah, they had.
Okay.
I'm not sure what game I've seen, but it looked relatively new and it had the characters from like the recent like 2 and 3 remakes
Yeah.
and shit. And you play as like one of the villains from the game, like Nemesis or uh Mr. X or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's kind of like a DB Dead by Daylight vibe kind of thing. Like there's a bunch of people running around and he's after you. Somebody's playing as him type of shit. I think.
Okay. So no one's actually played it though.
Hell no.
Resident Evil Reverse, that's what it's called. I'm looking at it
Okay.
on Steam right now. It says planned release date 2022.
Oh, so that's why we haven't played it. Okay.
Might be good. We don't know.
If it's like a Dead by Daylight, I think that'd be really cool with all
Oh
Resident Evil
yeah.
characters.
But I mean, Resident Evil is in Dead by Daylight. Like,
True.
that's one of the expansions or DLC you can buy for Dead by Daylight.
I'm surprised that's not your
Oh,
game of the year, Steve. You played the fuck out of that game.
I love Dead by Daylight, but I mean that shit's like what 7, 8 years old now. It's still great, but
And it's
I would
now
not call it.
crossplay.
Yeah, I, my frustration with Dead by Daylight is it's not balanced really well. It's I can dominate the fuck out of you with 1 or 2 killers, but that's it. If if I choose any of the other killers, I am just getting my ass kicked by the survivors, and it's frustrating, and it takes forever to get into a match sometimes. So it's like I
Yeah,
Uh,
some
I
of the
think it,
killers. Go ahead.
it's like, I'm sorry, it's like it's like any game where the fan base absolutely hates the fuck out of their game, but they also play 180 or 400 hours of it. I hate this game, but I'm going to play it for the next 6 hours.
Some of the killers in that game have like a really high skill ceiling. So like if you pick someone like the nurse or whatever and you've never played as her before, you will get absolutely fucking trolled by the survivors. They'll just teabag you all game, run circles around
Yep.
you, and like you just can't do anything because you don't know how to use the character. But once
Yeah.
mastered, they can fuck you up within the first 5 minutes of a game.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe we should stream that shit. There's enough of us where we can all play the Survivor or something. That could be fun.
I've played
We
it
can
a
get.
singular time, and I am not good.
There's also
That's all right.
there's a new Dead by Daylight like game called Prop Night. It's like Prop Hunt and Dead by Daylight mixed. Like there are killers that you get to choose who have abilities and stuff. And as a survivors, you repair generators, but you also have the ability to clone items around you and turn into them, like a book bag or a suitcase or a chair, and you can like run around and shit and hide, and then you can even hit the killer and stun them with your prop form. So it's really fucking cool.
Didn't it? Didn't that prop hunt that started off as a Gary's mod game? Wasn't there? I'm almost positive there's a prop hunt
Yes.
in Gary's mod.
It was either that or
Yes.
Counter Strike or some shit.
Isn't like 25% of all games, weren't they originally a Gary's mod?
I
They
think
were
that's right.
they were bridged off of Half Life 2,
Yeah.
Yes, everything's Half-Life 2.
basically.
Uh,
But
Randy, do you have a game of the year?
I do not. I don't think I played too many games that came out last year. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. One game that I did play that I surprisingly loved was, hold on just a second. I'd be coughing. It's called Supra Land, and it's like a goofy, like platformer type game. Like a puzzle platformer. And I don't know what compelled me to download it. Like it's typically not a game that I would go for, but it was small. It was like 2 gigs or something, so I figured I might as well, and I loved it a lot. But beyond that, I didn't play anything special.
yeah, the way
All right.
me and Randy game is like we don't really get on a game to play the game. Most of the time we get on there just to like talk or depending on the game fuck with people. But like we had a lot of fun this past year in like VR chat, and
Yes.
I don't know, that low key I had a lot of fun in that shit between the podcast and off stream, like fucking around with you and fucking around with people and finding the few and far between cool people that we did find. That shit was, or it's a different world literally, but I don't know. I fucked with it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with VR chat as well. I don't think it's a game. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's
It's like a
something.
social
But
experience.
yeah, yeah, we definitely need to. Maybe next week we'll go back to VR chat if we're all up for it. Ryan, do you have VR, right? You can join us.
I don't. I
Well,
sold
you
my
can.
VR to you. Oh yeah, but I can
Yeah,
download it and join. Yeah, I could.
yeah. You
I
don't need
do.
to be in VR.
I do want to get. Not to change topics, but I do want to get into. Or I'm not get into, but I do want to get another VR eventually, whether it's the Oculus or I know PlayStation just released the specs on their new one. If Oculus comes out with an update to their like what is it? A Quest? Is it a Quest? Is that what the newest ones are called?
Yeah.
Yep.
Quest 2.
Yeah. So like if there's a Quest 3, I'll probably end up getting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quest
I
2
mean,
is a very solid headset, dude.
it is. I hate the Facebook integration. I fucking despise it. But I don't know.
Well, that's being
Besides,
removed, isn't it?
Yeah, it
I,
is.
make it happen faster.
Oh, so it's still okay. I guess they're planning to remove it, but it's not. It doesn't
Yeah.
Right.
sound like.
Yeah. Right now, you have to have a Facebook account to use your Quest as a Quest. You can hook it up to your PC and still use your legacy Oculus account, But if you just want it as a standalone Quest 2 headset, you need to log in with Facebook.
Yeah, I
Is
think I'll probably get a Quest because when I had the what's the one I sold you, Steve? Is it a
The
Rift?
Rift. Yeah.
Yeah, the Oculus developed games I think were really really good, like Robo Recall and some of the games that Facebook pays developers to make specifically for the Oculus. I think are some of the best VR games. So I'll probably
Yeah,
end up
I
getting
agree.
that.
And you mentioned the PSVR. They finally announced the PSVR 2 and released the specs. I'm excited about that. The PSVR was flawed as fuck. The tracking was garbage, but if you got it down, the game experience was awesome. The games were great. The exclusives that are released on there are fucking phenomenal. And if you have, I'm sorry,
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say Resident Evil 7, I think is a reason just you should buy a PSVR just to play Resident Evil 7 in VR. It's exclusive to that, and I think it's really, really cool.
It is absolutely. So yeah, I ended up getting my PSVR for like $200 on clearance at Walmart years ago. I think it would take fucking a long time for the PSVR 2 to get down to that, so I'll probably end up biting the bullet and getting that shit at launch. I think it's 4.99. It's pretty fucking hefty, but it may
Yeah.
be worth it.
It looks like they addressed every shitty thing about the original PSVR,
Mm,
like the shitty screen. I don't think the screen's that bad, but the the field of view is a little low, the screen's not as good, and then the tracking is pretty terrible, but all that looks like it's gonna be fixed in the 2.
yeah, I only saw the specs. I haven't seen any like any demos of it beyond that. So that I don't even think there's a time frame, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, they haven't shown any like gameplay of what it would look like, um, or released a kind of a window of when it. I think it'll probably come out this holiday year, so about like 11 months from now. Is what I would assume, but yeah, they haven't said anything.
yeah, I think you're right about that. But yeah, it's that's just VR is not dead. They've been fucking talking about something's gonna kill it. It's not real, but we're still kicking, and I'm
I
still
think the
buzzing it.
Quest is super popular. Every time I'm
Yeah,
in Best Buy or somewhere, there's always like people around that display trying to get it.
Quest
yeah.
is awesome. Speaking of the Quest, I got recently. You probably heard me mention it at the beginning of the stream. Uh, I got Golf Plus. It's a mix of Top Golf, putt putt, and like PGA like golf. But dude, that is the most immersed I've ever been in a fucking game in my life. Like in Top Golf, like you know how in Top Golf IRL, you there's like TVs around, there's the golf cart driving around on the course, picking up the balls and shit. There's like other people around you golfing, and there's like I don't know, like waitresses and walking around and shit. Like that's all in VR, bro. Like it's an online game, so like when you spawn in, you see other people just already fucking like hitting golf and shit. There's like you can choose what you want to put on the screens and shit. Like YouTube is there. You can browse the internet there and play like Twitch streams and stuff or movies. And like me and my friend had got in there and I've already dropped like 10 hours into that shit and I'm probably going to go do that shit after we end the stream. That's how good it is. Like, if you have
All
a
right,
Quest, I highly recommend getting that game.
I'm gonna do it. It's what, $20. I'll drop 20 on that. That looks like fun.
Yeah, it was on sale when I bought it for 15. It may still be on sale.
The
All right.
multiplayer games where you could just put the headset on and it's almost like you're just hanging out with people that you know and you're in a game. I think
Yep.
those are the best games
Those
on
are the
VR.
absolute best.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
me and Randy also played the Facebook version of VR chat the other day, and that shit was good. And like they've done so much work with the like just the UI and the party system on Quest because it was kind of shit at the beginning, but now it's perfect. I think it's so good now. Really easy to get in a game and play with your friends.
I have $10 store credit, so I'm gonna drop that shit tonight.
Let's go. You want to play it tonight, or is it too late for you?
I'm old. I've been up since like 5:30, man. I'm tired as fuck.
I feel you.
All right. Well, I mean, I've I've had a lot of fun with this shit. I'm glad we're doing this again. Let's make this a regular thing. Ryan, you're always welcome to join us. Love having you on here, even if you shit on our favorite things.
I think
Love having you around.
I should come on when we have different opinions on movies. I'll come on and just shit on it, and then leave. For the
There's-
future.
There's no good movies coming out. Like I think January is just a dead fucking month. There was supposed to what's that Marvel movie with
Eternals.
no
Mobius.
yeah, Mobius was supposed to come out this month and they just kicked it to April. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I love going to movies. I got the Regal pass, and there is just nothing to go see at all this month. I can go watch fucking American Underdog, but like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll go see the Kingsman. That might be.
I think
good.
they're pushing it all because of COVID to later.
Oh, I thought we beat that shit. What are you talking about?
Well, once everybody gets it, then I mean that seems like the plan. Just everybody get it.
All right, man. Well, I think we should call it. We're at about an hour and 20. Again, appreciate you guys being patient with us. We'll make sure that we drop this regularly. Between all of us, we'll probably be streaming some games, so always check out our Twitch channel. But until next time, thank you.
See ya.